Need for Speed Payback versus Need for Speed Underground 2 customization battle? Okay, let's talk. When it comes to customization in open world action or arcade racing games, there always seems to be a debate about how customization back in the day was better than how customization is within games of present. The Crew, Need for Speed, Forza Horizon, it doesn't matter what franchise it is, when these games get launched they always get compared to games of older generations, some games as much as 10 or more years prior. EA's Need for Speed franchise is arguably the biggest victim when it comes to the topic in hand. Within its long history of games, many people say that Need for Speed Underground 2 is the one where your imagination is allowed to run at its most free due to the sheer vastness of the customization system. What we're going to do today is see just how much the landscape has changed, how far, how wide are the differences within the customization system in Need for Speed Payback 13 years after the majestic Need for Speed Underground 2 was released back in 2004. So for this experiment, what we're going to do is use the Acura RSX as our base model today, with a full customization done in Need for Speed Payback, followed by a full customization done in Need for Speed Underground 2. So without further ado, let's begin.
Krueger on the track.
And now the Underground 2 version.
Stoletov music. Stoletov music. Stoletov music.
So there you have it guys, there is the final end product, a fully customized Acura RSX in Payback and also the same done in Need for Speed Underground 2. So at the start of the video I asked the question, how much have things changed? The answer, a heck of a lot, as you saw. There is definitely a lot of truth and a lot of credibility behind the argument to suggest that customization back then was indeed better, with more substance, more variety, more choice than it is today. Now, there are two things that we can look at to back this point up. The first is the customization within the actual sound system. If you remember, for the Acura RSX in Payback, the only thing I was allowed to do was just click an option which said sound system. That was it. It didn't show me any visual representation. It didn't show me any layout. It didn't show me any varying different models, different colors, different designs. In fact, it was invisible. Whereas within Need for Speed Underground 2's Acura RSX, I was able to pop the hood. I was able to choose between multiple layout options. I was able to change the actual material. I was able to choose from different type of subwoofers. I was even given the opportunity to put NOS canisters in the trunk, hood rather. The second thing to look at is the sheer number of parts by volume. If you take the front bumper for an example, Need for Speed Payback's Acura had about, what was it, 4, maybe even 5 different types of front bumpers. The one in Underground 2 had 25, if I'm not mistaken, 25 different variable parts. And that was a consistent theme across all body parts. Now, as with any good discussion, any good debate, any good argument, we always have to provide some sort of balance. With Payback, what they've done is basically created individual parts for each car. So all the parts you saw for the Acura in Payback are specifically made for the Acura only. When it comes to Underground 2, every single one of those parts that you saw are available across every single car. So looking at it from that perspective, there's a fair argument to suggest that customization is actually maybe better. Maybe not even, maybe better is not the right word, but you could say that there's more work to be done on the development side of things. It's more demanding to have 50 or 60 cars in your game and develop individual components and parts for each one than it is to have more like a copy and paste sort of mentality, which is pretty much used in Underground 2. So for that reason, in my mind at least, you need to give some sort of respect to the work that went into the customization on Need for Speed Payback. However, this is a competition in my mind. In a boxing match, you can earn a lot of respect for putting in a valiant performance. Doesn't mean that you're going to win the fight though, does it? I admit this is a very, very subjective subject. A lot of people are going to disagree with this and a lot of people are going to agree with it. It's polarizing, and that's why I do these types of videos. The way I look at customization is as follows. There's two things to look at: creativity and combinations. Providing a vast array of parts, support and components for each car means that you can improve the different types of outcomes due to an increase in the number of combinations available. Think about it logically for a second. If 1,000 of you went into Need for Speed Payback right now, loaded up the game and built up a customized Acura RSX, I guarantee you out of the 1,000 people to take part in that experiment, there will be various groups of people that come out with identical car designs, mainly because there isn't enough choice. If you carried out the same experiment on the same car in Need for Speed Underground 2, the probability of this happening will be greatly reduced due to the fact there are so many different parts on offer. What this also does is it has a knock-on effect, because with more parts available, it means that people can get more creative. But creativity doesn't just stop there, because it's not just about the sheer amount of parts in comparison, it's also about the possibilities of things that you can do extra. So for example, the nitros purge, the neons on the actual engine, the fact that you can get the hood to actually split open, the fact that you can have suicide doors, the fact that you can customize the actual gauges. You've got 3 different types of hydraulics, for goodness sakes, and you can mix and match any part you want with absolutely no restriction whatsoever. This video is not about nostalgia, it's about mathematics and common sense. As I mentioned earlier, I know that it's a much harder job making individual parts for every single car than it is to have a set of parts that you spread across all cars. What I would like to see going forward is, if developers find it difficult to actually model like 15 or 20 or 25 parts for each car in time for release, how about we have monthly update packs which are free of charge, yeah, no payment for them, free of charge, where you add more and more parts. So it's almost like building blocks as the game goes on. So for example, I don't know, you launch the Acura RSX and on day of release it's got 5 different types of front bumpers, and then a month or 2 after launch you release a pack whereby it's got another 5 or another 10 of each component for each area of the car. And you could do maybe 1 car a month or every 2 months, I don't know, this is just me throwing out a suggestion here as usual. But anyway, what I'm more interested in as usual is what your suggestions are in relation to potential solutions for this matter, and Also, I want to know what your thoughts are in relation to how customization has changed down the years, not just in Need for Speed Payback, but in the racing games industry as a whole. Be sure to leave your comments down below. If it's your first time around here, I wish you a born welcome. Ensure to hit the like button, make sure you subscribe and swing the damn hell out of the notification bell so you know when the next video drops. I look forward to reading your comments. Some of them may even get shouted out in a future video, but in the meantime, I'll see you when the next video comes out. Take it easy, peace.